Grow the farm up. We're looking at a field of freshly drilled cover crop. This was a soybean cash crop in 2023. It's just been drilled into a mixture of rye, vetch, clover, and some other goodies. You can see what we've done is after we harvest the soybeans, we come through and we close the pivot tracks, and now we are irrigating to germinate our cover crop. The forecast is favorable for the next week or so, that if we can get this cover crop out there, germinated, established, and growing in the next 6, 7, 8, 9 days, we've got an opportunity to have a really good cover crop fall. Let's hope we actually get some snow this winter, because contrary to what you might think, snow is very good for cover crop. It helps it over winter because it gives you insulation. If you could get 6 inches of snow on the surface all winter long, that would be the best insulation to help your cover crop over winter. It's when there's bare, frozen February doldrums, 30 below, 40 below, wind chills, and that cover crop on those side hills there, it catches that wind, and it'll survive some of it, most of it, but some of it will struggle. But the biggest obstacle is actually getting the cover crop to evenly and really more than 90% germinate. This is cover crop seed that we grew ourselves and have been growing ourselves and have been getting well above 90% germ. So we'll come back, get a picture of this in a week, and I'll let you see what it looks like. Here, planted, what is it, the 12th of October, something like that. And that's about right. You always wish you could get it in a week earlier, 2 weeks earlier, but it's a second planting season. You have to dedicate your farm to a second planting season. See, look at that pivot track. So you come around with the machine that closes the track, and then the pivot goes around watering up the cover crop and makes a new track. But that's not a very deep track, and we'll probably leave it. I've had instances in the past where I've drilled my cover crop first and then came back and closed the pivot tracks, wasn't thinking about it, and the fields were spot free, weed free all year, except I had these 7 circles, because every pivot around here is 7 towers and basically a 1/4 mile long. That's pretty much what everything's chopped up into. There's a few longer pivots that are 10, 12, 14 towers. Just depends on how the roads are laid out around you. Everything's kind of cut into mile squares and 1/4 mile, half mile sections, irrigated by 1/4 mile round circle pivots. And what I had 7 circles of just weeds. Literally all I needed to spray was go drive around with the 4-wheeler and just spray the pivot tracks. So I've learned, close those pivot tracks when you're in the arid west in irrigation country. Close those pivot tracks before you plant your cover crop. It'll pay dividends come next spring. Grow the farm up.